Hi, I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from yourblackworld.com. I started wearing a headphone so that you can hear me a little more clearly. I hope it helps. Today I woke up and I was thinking about a few things. I was thinking about this weekend and the event that Minister Farrakhan and I are holding in the south side of Chicago. The event is called Wealth, Education, Family, and Community, a new paradigm for Black America. And basically it's going to be held at the Sweet Holy Spirit Church at 8621 South Chicago Avenue at 5 p.m. on Saturday, March 30th. Also, I had a conversation this morning with Reverend Jesse Jackson to talk to him about some things that I'll reveal to you next week. I can't talk too much about it, but also we did talk about what he's doing in Detroit. I think that when these public figures get out here and work on behalf of the community, I think we should support them, even if they're not perfect people, because one of the things that we can say about Reverend Jackson is that his voice brings attention that other voices cannot, and so I think his voice is very important in spite of the fact that he is heavily criticized by a lot of Black people, and sometimes perhaps rightfully so. Who knows? I mean, if you criticize me, sometimes it's the right criticism too. One of the things I was thinking about today was a segment I did yesterday on HuffPost Live about interracial dating, and it was very interesting because part of the conversation centered around what it means to date outside your race and how people within your race interpret that. And I was on with 3 Black women, and it was ironic because out of the 3 Black women and then myself, I was the only one who was actually dating a Black person. The other women were all dating white guys, or one was dating an Indian guy. And it wasn't that I found that to be a problem. I believe love comes in all shapes and sizes, and I think that if you are handed the opportunity to be with a good person who's going to treat you well, then you'd be silly to pass that up just to date somebody in your race, because sometimes someone in your race can treat you worse than someone outside of your race. I mean, we even see that in politics. Well, we see a lot of politicians with Black faces in high places who don't care anything about Black people, and they're being used as pawns. So one of the things that hit my brain as well on this was that I noticed that during the conversation, I saw some of the ladies kind of saying, one of them was sort of saying, well, I'm going to date who I want to date, and I'm not going to let anybody make me feel that I should care about the Black community or care about dating within the Black community, because that's not a big deal for me, and what matters to me is doing what's best for me and what I want to do, and I don't care what anybody else thinks, and I know we Black people have all these issues, but that's not my problem. And I just thought that, and again, I'm paraphrasing here, but that was kind of the tone. And I wasn't disrespecting what the woman said, but I was sort of saying, well, I feel personally that when the Black community struggles and suffers, that is my problem. I care about my community, and I believe the Black family is broken down and decimated. And so when I was 16 years old, I made the conscious decision to tell my mother that if I marry a woman, I wouldn't marry a man. I date women, but if I were to get married, I'd marry a Black woman, because I believe in strengthening the Black family. That's what's important to me, and I think it's okay to say that. I think it's okay to have a sense of community. I think it's okay to be Black. It's okay to want to do things for Black people. It's okay to want to sacrifice for your community, and I think that sometimes we get away from that. We lose our sense of community, and it's interesting because other communities don't lose that. They don't sort of reject the pressure to support the community. The Jewish community, there's pressure to support as well, but you don't see people saying, well, I don't care anything about the Jewish community. I don't the problems of the community aren't my problems. I'm going to do whatever I want. And I think that really what this says is that we have to get back to the idea where we decide that it's okay to sacrifice for your community. An example might be Black business. You'll hear a lot of people that will, let's say you have a product being sold for $4.50 at Walmart and being sold for $5 at a Black-owned business. A lot of people will say, I'm not buying from the Black company because I'm not paying that extra 50 cents. Well, you know what? I would pay the extra 50 cents because I would chalk up that premium to be a contribution to my community. And that overrides my need to save 50 cents on my purchase. So the bottom line here, the point I want to make is that we have to teach ourselves and our children the value of community, the value of supporting each other, even if it costs you a little bit extra to support a Black business or it inconveniences you a little bit to care about your community. I think that's going to be critical for our survival in the 21st century. So that's all I want to say. I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from Your Black World. Please take care. God bless and have a wonderful day. I'm gone. Peace.